Hey, in this video I'll be going over how Eternal Fire defaults on this-side Inferno. I will first show you an example of how the default looks like in 2D and 3D with each player POV, and then talk about some of the reactions that they have out of their default. Eternal Fire's default has 3 people going towards banana and 2 people going towards second mid. The banana guys are going to be throwing a smoke halfway on banana and mollying car, while the second mid guys are going to be mollying apps. On top of that, Mayor is going to have a flash ready for any banana aggression, and VKD is going to bounce a flash just in case the cities wanted to get aggressive second mid. Now from there, VKD and Calyx are going to be taking apps control, and Exandaris and Woxic are going to be taking banana. Now obviously when they take banana, Major is going to be ready with flashes in case they lead them. After they've secured banana and apps, they might decide to start taking mid control, but usually, at least from what I've seen, by now they either have an entry on B or they have already decided to go A together. Now I'd like to talk about a couple of things. First, I'd like to talk about the importance of having a dynamic default so you can react to what your opponent gives you. Then I'd like to talk about having a few set reactions for extreme aggression from your opponent. For example, what should you do if the cities take banana aggressively with numbers. Then after that, I'd like to talk about having set reactions for when you go down numbers. And then the final thing is having multiple ways to search for kills within the default. So now I want to talk about why it's important that you adapt your default to what the enemy is doing. So here, Eternal Fire is going to change their default because of what, not because of what, but because of how MIBR played. So MIBR has basically been given a banana, and because of it, Eternal Fire is going to change the way they take it, meaning that they're basically not going to be throwing a smoke here, but instead just the molly, and Xantares is going to be peeking pretty much instantaneously. On top of that, I also want to point out that Xantares did have the best possible spawn here. This might not be as good if he doesn't have that spawn, but it still showcases what I'm talking about, which is adjusting your default depending on what the enemies do. I think it's really important that you have a couple of set reactions ready to go if the cities do something really aggressive and take a big chunk of map control away from you. Like for example, if they take banana fast with a lot of people, or if they take meat with like the face smoke here. And those would just be two examples on Inferno. Anyway, Eternal Fire has at least a couple of these that I've seen so far, and I want to showcase them. So here, they're basically going to be defaulting, and then as soon as they see that, okay, these guys are taking banana really fast with a lot of utility, let's just float into an A-rep. So as soon as they say that, the call has been made, they're lining up utility, they're pretty much just going to be smoking arch and library and balling under roof, porch, whatever you want to call it, and split wrapping A even. Nothing really too crazy about it. Now, the other example that I want to talk about is going to be pretty much a similar round. They are reacting to the same thing, which is like the cities taking banana off of them, but here they're going to opt out for app swap instead. So Major is still making it seem like they're taking banana control even, and the rest of the guys are just getting ready in apps. Now, as soon as they are ready, they're going to get popped out with some utility from Xantares and Mayor. Nothing really too crazy. Like, both of these reactions, I would say, are pretty structured. You can have much looser and much more simpler reactions if you want, but it isn't important as long as you have reactions that save you valuable time in the mid round and save a lot of like thinking power and focus, so that you guys don't have to organize yourselves and figure out what to do. Instead, you instantaneously know what to do and how to do it. I also think that it's really important that you as a team have at least a couple of different ways to play when you go down a person. So here, Eternal Fire is going to lose an entry early. As soon as they lose it, Wicadia groups up with his team and they make a call to take banana. Now Wicadia is going to lag a little bit behind. I assume that he went to pick up some sort of utility or something, but as you can see, the rest of the team instantaneously takes banana off of it. So they lose Calyx. The guys pretty much keep fighting banana, and then they just decide to go B together. Now, obviously, I don't think that this is the only type of reaction that you could have, and you should probably have different variations of it. If you lost a player on B, like if you lost a player on banana, your reaction obviously should not be to go banana, it should be to do something else. Or if you lost a player in apps, again, totally different. The point that I'm trying to get across here is just you should have set things to do for when you lose a player, just so you can save that precious time in game. So you don't have to organize, like I said before, you don't have to organize, you don't have to waste time discussing things like this. You can just make a read and go do it. The final thing that I would like to talk about today is having multiple ways of searching for entries within your default. So here, Eternal Fire is going to be doing the stuff that they usually do, but from it, they are going to be trying to walk out of apps as a duo. While they're doing that, Major is also doing some utility to support them, but what I want to talk about is them doing this in the first place. You can make reads, have just a feeling, or just want to make an aggressive play, but it's important that, well, obviously it's important that you actually go and do it. It's just as important that it has like some structure behind it, so you're not just walking in blind. So here, Major is throwing some utility to divert the attention, so they hopefully get an opening, right? It could also just them be seeing a gap in the default and trying to exploit it. It could be way more structured than this. It could be like involving multiple flashes, or it could just be like a basic timing. The point is, within a default, you should have multiple ways to try and find an entry on A, on B, out of boiler, out of beat, whatever it is. The more options you have, the easier it will be for you when nothing is going your way. They're really locking down your set strats. They're really doing everything that they can to disrupt your default. That's when you're going to need as many options as possible in order to find those entries.